Hello guys and welcome back to another video, and now I'm going to be making my predictions for Gameweek 35 of the 25-26 EFL Championship season. But as always, before we begin, let's see how I did in the midweek matches. I got one scoreline correct. I got West Brom and Charlton drawing 1-1 correct, plus 4 more outcomes correct, so that is 7 points, taking my season total up to 249. And this is how the table looks after 34 matches. And without further ado, let's predict this weekend's matches. And we're going to start with Bristol City against Watford in a battle of two sides on pretty interesting form, actually. Bristol City with the 2-1 away win against Blackburn last week. Watford with a 2-0 defeat to Ipswich. And it seems like since Ed Steele has come in, Watford have been on a pretty poor run of form. Bristol City have been really difficult to predict this season. It's almost like whatever you predict them to do, they do the opposite. But they are at home against the Watford side who have dropped many points in recent weeks. I think both these sides are still in the playoff discussion. Bristol City definitely, they're 8th. I think Bristol City, being the home side, might just get the 3 points over the line. I back Bristol City to win 2-1. I think it could be close, but I think Bristol City will ultimately just get the 3 points over the line. 2-1 to the Robins. Next up, we've got Leicester City against Norwich City in a battle of two sides that are in interesting forms themselves. Leicester with back-to-back draws. And Norwich are on fire. They are flying still. They're on at least promotion form. Well, at least playoff form, if not promotion form. But the thing is, the game is at the King Power. And I think Leicester, despite being in the bottom three, I do think they will get out of this quite comfortably and survive. But Norwich have been getting results over the line. I do trust them more at Carrow Road, Norwich, but I think they could get out of here with a draw. I'll go for a Desmond, a 2-2 draw on this one. I think point wouldn't really help either, but I do think there'll be goals, and I think a Desmond is where I'm going 2-2. Next up, we've got Derby County against Blackburn Rovers, and this is another interesting one. Blackburn were on great form, and then they lost 2-1 to Bristol City in midweek. Derby County with a 4-2 defeat to Hull. So both coming off the back of defeats. This is a tricky one, because I don't really ever know what to do with Derby, what Derby will show up and do. Same with Blackburn, really. They've been blowing hot and cold all season. I might sit on the fence again. I'll go for a 1-1 draw. I think both will get something from the match, and I think both will shake hands and settle for a draw. 1-1 of this one. Next up, we've got Portsmouth against Hull City. And this is another very hard one to call, because Portsmouth did lose 2-1 to Wrexham. I did predict them to lose last week. Hull managed to get the 4-2 victory over Derby. A very big win for them. In midweek, they're back to winning ways. But I know Hull do at the minute tend to be better on the road, but I don't know whether to trust them. I don't know whether what they'll do on the road, and at Fratton Park it's a very tricky ground to go to. And you know what, this may be foolish of me, but I'm going to back the home side. I'll go Portsmouth to win 2-1. That would put another nail in the Hull coffin for the playoffs. And I think that Portsmouth will emerge somehow with the 3 points. 2-1 to Portsmouth. I like them at home. Next up, we've got QPR against Sheffield United. And QPR absolutely got hammered by Southampton in midweek, 5-0 loss to them. Sheffield United lost 2-1 to Coventry. It's interesting because QPR, you never know what form they'll go on. Of course, when they got hammered 7-1 by Coventry early in the season, they went on to go on a pretty good run of form afterwards. QPR are a tricky one to call. Sheffield United haven't been at the brilliant best this season either. I do prefer Sheffield United at home. I think there'll be goals in this one. I'll go for another Desmond, another 2-2 draw on this one. I think both sides will be happy with a point, and I think they'll, like Derby and Blackburn, what I said about them, I think they'll shake hands and move on to next week. A 2-2 draw, Desmond, on this one. Next up, we've got Charlton Athletic against Wrexham. And I saw a stat this morning that Wrexham have picked up the most points since Christmas, which is, a very impressive run of form from the Welsh side. Charlton, the thing is, Charlton are at home, and I do like Charlton at home, but I can't look past this run of form Wrexham are. They're in 6th place, they're in the playoff places. I can't look past the run of form they're on, though. I could see Charlton getting a draw out of this game if they play themselves, but I'm going to back Wrexham. I'll go Wrexham to win 2-1. I think it's going to be closer than, a couple of Wrexham's other games recently. But I do think that Wrexham will just get the 3 points over the line and stay in the playoffs. They need to keep moving because the teams behind them are catching up slightly. So I'm going 2-1 to Wrexham. And talking of one of the sides behind them, they are coming up here, they're playing away. It's Sheffield Wednesday against Southampton. And, well, I can only see this game going one way, and that's away victory here. Southampton with the 5-0 win over QPR. We're finally pushing up. We're only one place outside the playoffs now in 7th. Sheffield Wednesday, as I said, did get relegated in the Steel City derby. The thing is, I do wonder, and they are at home. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but do Sheffield Wednesday now start to play with a bit of freedom? Do they just not worry now they're already down, or do they just roll over? I'm going with the latter. I think Southampton will be flying high in confidence with that 5-0 beating of QPR. I think there could be another heavy victory coming here for the Saints, and we need to try and make playoffs. I'm going Southampton to win 4-0. I think it's going to be quite heavy. Another great victory for the Saints to march on with, and I'm going for it. 4-0 to the Saints. Next up, we've got Ipswich Town against Swansea City. And, well, this is a tricky one to predict as well, because Ipswich are at home, and I do like Ipswich at home. But Swansea, I look at Swansea, and they've been on a good run of form recently themselves. I do think Ipswich will get... I think they will go on a good run of form. And try and chase down the top 2 in this final 11 or so game running in the league, but I think Swansea might actually get out of here with a draw. You know what, I'll go for a 1-1 draw on this one, and don't worry Ipswich fans, we will, predict you again later in the video, but I do think they might get out of here with a draw. I'll go for 1-1. I think that wouldn't be a bad result for either. It wouldn't be great for either, but it wouldn't be terrible either. And I think a 1-1 draw in this one. And next up, we've got Coventry City against Stoke City. And, well, this is a big one. Coventry with, 3 wins in a row. Stoke off the back of a 2-1 win themselves against Oxford United last over the midweek. But it is at the CBS, and I do like Coventry at home. I like Coventry, a lot in both places at the minute. I think another good run of form. I think they've sorted their form out. I remember this reverse fixture early in the season was first versus second. I think if it was at Stoke, I'd still be back at Coventry. But I could see it being fairly comfortable here. I'll go Coventry to win 3-1. I think Coventry will get the 3 points over the line and remain top of the table. And potentially, given Middlesbrough's playing Birmingham this weekend, maybe even extend the lead at the top of the table. 3-1 Cov. Next up, we've got a huge relegation 6-point fight match. It's Oxford United against West Brom. And this is a tricky one. West Brom, since Ryan Mason went, they brought in a manager, and now he's gone. He only lasted 9 matches, and now I'm really worried for West Brom. They're currently in 21st, they're just above the drop zone, but I could see Leicester going on a bit of a run at some point in the end of the season here, and they are away. I do like Oxford at home. Right now, I do think that Oxford might get a win. I would back Oxford if I had to pick a winner here, but the thing is, I don't know how West Brom will perform at the minute, given they just like the second manager. I think they might have a bit of a bounce here. I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Maybe Oxford have the lead for a while and West Brom find a 18-minute-ish equaliser. I'll go for a 1-1 draw, point apiece in this one. Next up, we've got Preston North End against Millwall. And this is a tricky one to predict as well. Because Preston their goals have really dried up at the minute. But they are very cagey. They've been cagey all season. Millwall were on an excellent run of form, like promotion form, and then they went and lost. They beat Birmingham 3-0 last week in the midweek. Preston. What did Preston do? They drew 1-1 with Swansea. It could be a draw, given Preston's the home side, but I like Millwall. I like Millwall right now. That 3-0 win against Birmingham was a convincing win. I like Millwall to win 2-0. I could say it have been a 1-1 draw, but I am going Millwall to win 2-0. I think if Millwall are to challenge for top 2, and I think they very much could, they need to get these results over the line. I think they will. 2-0 Millwall. And then we've got a big match. It's Birmingham City against Middlesbrough. And, Birmingham with the 3-0 defeat to Millwall. They were in good form. And then they lost to Millwall. Borough drew again. They drew 1-1 with Leicester at home in midweek. It's a tricky one to call this because I think both sides are in fairly good form. Borough's gone on a streak of 3 consecutive draws, but Birmingham are at home. It is at St Andrews, and I've liked Birmingham at home all season. I think they could get it over the line here, but I think I'm going to chicken out because Borough themselves, they need to get results to keep up with Coventry in the title race. I think I'll go for a 2-2 draw. It will be drop points for both, but I do think ultimately it's not a bad result for either. So I go for another Desmond, another 2-2 draw. And then finally we've got a catch-up game from the FA Cup week. It is Ipswich Town against Hull City. And, well, Ipswich are back at home again. I think this is on Tuesday. Some point next week, midweek. Hull, it's like I said when they played Portsmouth. Of course, we don't know what either side have done over the weekend as of yet. But I don't know whether to trust Hull away from home. I do like Ipswich in the minute. I think they'll go on a run. I will back the Tractor Boys to win 2-1. I think Ipswich need to start getting 3 points over the line more frequently if they are to challenge for top 2 here. I think they'll get the win here. 2-1 Ipswich. And there you have it, guys. All 13 matches predicted for this weekend in the Championship. We'll see next week how well I've done in these predictions. Of course, be back for more predictions next week. And I'll see you all later.